going to show you how I made a quick attach system for my rear rack. Because see, in some of my videos you might have noticed I have this rack on or that rack on, but I'm going to show you how I made a quick attach system for this machine. So basically what I started with was this rack, and what happened was, you can see some of the grinding here, but what happened was I was riding some wheelies and went a little bit too far back a couple times, and I ended up breaking this rack off. So that was an issue, and something I had been thinking about for a while was making a quick attach system, because I could never really decide, because this four-wheeler came with the rack on it. I never could really decide if I really wanted a rack like that all the time or a rack like that all the time. So I made a quick attach system because, you know, that's the easiest way. So what I started out with, again, was this rack, and it was mounted to, it was basically the original rear grab bar, but all this was welded onto it, and somebody custom fabricated, well, my dad actually did because he used to own this, but anyhow, so as the original grab bar that this was all mounted to, so it mounted to the original mounting points. So it ended up breaking off like right there on, I forget which side it broke off on, but that's besides the point. So anyhow, it broke off, and I decided to, you know, might as well just make this, now that this is a pretty good incentive to, you know, make this rack. So what I did first is I found a piece of square tubing that would fit, two pieces of square tubing that one would fit inside of the other one on each side. That's what I did on each side. So basically what I did is I took a piece of square tubing, cut that original mounting point off up here because I needed that for the taillights, because you can see like right in there, it mounts in there. But anyhow, that taillight mounts onto there, so I was like, you know, I might as well cut that off so I don't have to fabricate a new one of those. So I cut that off and drilled a hole into here, cut this on an angle, and made sure that they were, you know, square and everything. I used the floor as like a tape measure because I had a pretty flat floor, I guess. But anyhow, so yeah, but anyhow, originally this is a little like 12-volt plug for, you know, like a spotlight or a cell phone charger or something. And I really wanted to have that on there too. It was originally on the handlebar, but I didn't really like that because, you know, you can't really charge your phone when you have a plug hanging off the handlebar. It's kind of senseless. So I decided to put it back on the rack so I could put pack back here and just shove the charger into the pack. And, you know, that's besides the point. So what I did to make that a quick attach as well is I took a plug with, you know, two connectors, one positive, one negative, and I made sure that the negative was this little metal one showing, because if it was the positive, then if you were to, you know, hit it against here, it would ground out and cause a short and all kinds of fun stuff. So, but anyhow, when I'm not using it, I just take it and tuck it back there, you know, it's no big deal. But yeah, that's a really nice feature for when I want to quick attach this. But what I did is made some pins, and watch this. Normally it slides right out, but I guess it's not going to do it this time. But anyhow, so here's the pin, you know, a little cotter key as well. So basically, you just take two pins out. Yeah, see, that one slid right out. Two pins out. And you can normally slide it right out. You have one rack right there. Take this rack. This one wasn't quite right, so you have to play with it a little bit. Another thing I did, just to keep all this from rusting, because this is a high friction point, I coated all this with grease, just so it'd keep it nice and easy to move. So, but anyhow, it just slides right in there, and you throw the pins back in, and away you go. Another thing I decided to do is, you know, you see all them nice race quads with all that cool looking number plate behind them, and I was like, you know, I kind of want that too. So, and here in Wisconsin, we have to have a license plate. So I decided to, you know, welded a nice little flat piece on there and drilled 2 holes in it, for the license plate. Put 2 screws in there, made a nice aluminum plate. These are just some mailbox numbers, and that's obviously just a brap sticker, because, you know, you gotta keep brapping. But anyhow, that also, one of the regrets I do have is I wish I would have made this piece of angle iron, because that would have given it a little bit more strength. But that's just a tip for you guys if you want to take on this type of project. But this project, yeah, this was something I dreamed up and I thought would be really cool to do, because I never could really decide between having a sport quad or a utility quad, so I decided to have the best of both. And you can see here too, I had, when I first bought it, this rack on the front was custom made onto here off the original one. My dad did that one as well. But yeah, he put a cool looking, it looks like kind of like if you step back a little bit, kind of looks like a pre-runner off-road type of truck in its own little way. But he originally had just a regular old fog light you'd see on like an old truck or something. So I originally had just a nice little 6-row LED light bar on there just to be nice and subtle, but then that quit on me, so I was like, you know, might as well put something bigger on there. So I got a 7.5 inch double row LED, put it on there, and that really keeps things bright. Another thing he did too was, originally when he got it, it didn't have the whole Baja light thing, so he just took 2 fog lights, and I kept that similar. But yeah, that's just the front rack. That's more for aesthetics. But yeah, this back one, yeah, you could pretty much do this on any type of 4-wheeler. It doesn't have to be just a Yamaha Warrior. It could be 400EXs, 300EXs. Well, the 300EXs actually, and the 400EXs, they have that whole fender, the fender and seat are all part of one, comes off separately. So what I thought, here's my idea, you could make like a quick attach deal that also flipped up, you know, like flipped up out of the way. So just picture that little rack right there, or like that rack, like if you wanted to have a nice big rack like that on there, you just have that flip up so that you can, you know, take off the seat and do whatever you need to down there without having to take the rack off and everything. But another good reason why to do this is because if you do have like a rack like that size on there or that size, you know, it's much easier to work on stuff. Like say you want to like if you're going to change the sprockets or the bearings, or even if you want to take the tires off, it's just 2 little pins and it comes right out, and you don't have to worry about hitting your head on it. Or even if you saw my previous video of this exhaust system, when I was doing that really helped out a lot when I was doing that project. But yeah, this is overall a really nice, simple, clean way to make it a little easier on yourself on working on your 4-wheeler. And if you're like me and you can't decide whether or not if you want a sport utility or sport quad or utility quad, so this way you get the best of both. And yeah, anyhow, yeah, that's my idea. I've never really seen anything else on the internet like this, but I thought it would be pretty cool to share with the internet here, world on YouTube, because I thought it was a really good idea, and hopefully nobody takes it and goes and markets it, because that'd be kind of sad, but still be cool because then everybody could do it. But anyhow, that's my nice little modification on my rear rack system here.